Good morning. How are we doing? Hi, Victoria. I'm excited to speak about this today. Describing our internal world. It's not something everyone wants to do, I completely understand. There's a real importance to it, though, which I'm sure we're going to explore in great detail and perhaps even give you an experience of it. What happens when you share what's going on for you? What happens when you put words to how you feel and the thoughts you have? It could be a really lovely experience. It could also be an awful one when we don't. I noticed that when I don't allow myself to share how I'm feeling, I tend to just suffer in silence. Hey, skeptics. Am I trying to be convincing? Skeptics, I wonder where you use your language, your words, your intelligence, your intellect in order to get something. Is it useful for you? Does it serve you as a positive tool to get what you want? When did you decide you need to do that? This might not be the place, but you don't want to end up in hell. I'm laughing because for me, the concept of heaven and hell is very much a present lived experience. It's not something you go to after you die and you're then judged for your life as a whole and how it's been. It's very easy to be conceptualized like that, but you're in hell right now if you are if you're suffering, if you're struggling, if you know what your lived experience is like right now. Is it one of profound positivity and love and happiness and you feel free? Or is it one of frustration, anger, resentment, just all the pain? Heaven and hell aren't out there in the future. It's right here, right now. I want to share a bit about what I experienced last night as a result of a phone call from my dad. He asked me to help out with repairing a roof on a barn. And usually my response is, yeah, sure, that sounds productive, sounds important. Can see the value he has on repairing his own barn's roof and the value I'd receive in doing such a thing, even willing to pay me for it. The issue I had though is that I don't want to do it. It's not that I don't want the income received. It's not that I don't want the experience of doing it. It's not like I don't want to do the physical work. I could really enjoy all of those things. But I don't want to do it. I want to work on myself, my business. I want to spend more time here with my partner. There's lots of things I do want to do. And in that phone call, I found it very difficult to say no. I did say that this is something I don't want to do. And I'll let you know if I do. If I change my mind and I don't want to do it, I'll let you know. I didn't explicitly say no. I just said that I don't want to. And that to me was quite a big thing. It's quite a big deal for me to say no in that way. Because all the time in my life, I'd be just going along with it. My brother would ask me, Tom, could you come and help with this? Because they were being asked by my dad to come and help with that. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I really love my brother. I'll come and help. Even though I didn't want to. And that's what is so easy to be caught up in life, like blindly following along and doing the things that we think we should be doing. But after having that phone call and saying I didn't want to do it, I ended up for the rest of my evening with a really bad headache. I felt the intensity of the emotion, like a real anger, connecting back to the times where when I was younger, I was really angry, like I was upset. I feel like I'm really connecting to it now. I was upset because I wasn't able to be heard, to be seen, to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be validated, whatever words we want to use. It felt like I was so forced to do things I didn't want to do. Even now, as I sit here, reconnecting to that past version of myself that's so angry or so upset, like I can relate to last night, how I was feeling so angry. Like I shouted. I was like, when you feel like an intense anger, a real kind of rage about something, like you physically tense up, like you want to move your body, like, or shout, scream. And I found that really difficult. I found it difficult because it was overwhelming, like the intensity of it. And it's like that phone call had triggered all of those experiences that I've been holding back to just bubble up. Like, we use the term triggered, but for me it's like a trigger of a gun. It could be like a hair trigger, something very minor just sets it all off. And you have this explosion of emotion that bubbles up inside. And for me, it was a really intense headache, real pain. That was a resistance, I think is the technical term for it, right? And in that resistance, I began to suffer because I didn't know what it was I was supposed to be doing. It was just overwhelming. It was intense for me. I was in that for the rest of the evening with this really intense headache. And all the stuff I've been doing up until this point, you would have thought, you'd be able to use that. You'd be able to learn from your experience. But it's so overwhelming in the moment, it's difficult to then think outside of yourself. You're caught up in the resistance. You're being dragged along with it. I'm sharing this now because on the other side of the experience of going through that, when I just allow myself to dive deep into it and ask, well, what's going on here? I found some compassion towards myself. Hey, Kelsey. I saw that the anger that I was feeling was fuel for my inner critic. When I was feeling in that moment, in the intense rage, the inner critic in my head was the loudest, the most extreme, the most intense. And when I shouted because I was angry, like physically expressed myself, the inner critic got quieter. And I've seen so clearly for the first time, perhaps, that that critical voice inside my head is fueled by anger. And I'd been holding on to that. Not consciously, not I wanted to, but subconsciously. My body was keeping hold of it for me because I didn't want to feel it, to process it, for whatever reason. Maybe simple as I didn't know how. It was overwhelming. Something then happened, had the phone call, and it got triggered, it got brought up for me. And there I am, faced to deal with it again. But this time was different. Not because I knew how. This time was different because I created the space for it to be okay, to feel it. No wonder I've been suffering for so long inside myself, because I was never allowing myself to feel how I was really feeling. I was never allowing myself to really describe that internal world, to share what was going on for me, because I was so afraid that if I did, I was going to get shouted at, criticized, whatever, judged. Something wrong with you, Tom. What are you shouting in the kitchen for? Have you ever watched a toddler regulate their emotions? It's quite a wonderful thing to see how simple it all is. Yeah, somewhere along the lines, we stop ourselves from regulating our own emotions because all this stuff, right? Hey, Donna, good to see you again. Yeah. So I'm going to just ask you, how are you feeling? Are you aware of how critical you're being towards yourself? And what might be fueling that? I've seen in my own experience, last night, today, this morning, not only is it okay for me to feel it, it's okay for me to share it with others. I sent a voice message to a friend, and typically I'll judge myself, I'll doubt myself, is this the right thing to do, to be sending this, such a personal experience to someone else? And I shared what went on for me, and the response was beautiful. Oh my God, that's exactly what I've gone through. Tom, you put it in such a perfect way. You've described exactly my experience, and it was complete human relation. Like, oh, that's exactly what I've go through. I feel such a loving, calm release and connection to others just by talking about this. So describing our internal world isn't just like a conceptual, I need to go and study this and become a therapist to be able to do it. No, it's right here, right now. Share how you are feeling, what's going on for you. And every time that judgment comes up, like, that's not the right thing to do, oh, this is vulnerable, what you're doing really is just allowing yourself to continue the way that you're experiencing life. I'm saying this from a genuinely concerned place inside myself, because that headache that I had after receiving a phone call that was triggering for me, and it's just my own personal experience, not to blame anyone else outside of myself, but all those emotions got brought up within me because they were being stored within me because I wasn't in the past creating a space for me to share what's actually going on. No wonder we feel such a relief when we talk about how we're feeling. It's like a burden gets lifted. Hey, Dessa, thank you. Donna, a lot's been going on for you then. Perimenopause and recent diagnosis of ADHD. I know from seeing others understand themselves more deeply that diagnosis can be a wonderful thing. It helps you to bring compassion towards yourself in areas and ways that you weren't previously doing, and that's beautiful. But I know that Donna's so much more than someone with ADHD. That's doesn't even scratch the surface of the depth of who you really are. Hey, Richard, the right thing to do is whatever we perceive to be right. Someone else is right is wrong. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Having perspectives. And I think it's a beautiful thing to share our own perspectives, not to be right or to make other people wrong, but to gain insights, awarenesses. Maybe there's another way I could view this. Oh yeah, I can see why you see what I see in the way that you see it because of what you think and how you value and what you feel. And that's perfect. Why not just build each other up? Yeah. Hey Nicole, you're diagnosed. CPTSD, FND, GAD. Whew, it's like many different qualifications you put after your name, right? There's a lot going on there. To me, they are symptoms of a complexity behind life, right? All the situations and circumstances you've been in and experiencing. There's nothing wrong with you. My perspective is one of if anyone else had been born in the same situation and circumstances you were born in and experienced it in exactly the same way you did, they would be in the same position you are. Nothing wrong with you at all. It is what it is. All that really matters is that compassion. Can you be kind and loving and supportive towards yourself? Because as awful as it may have been, the experience you've gone through, there may be a significant absence of love and support throughout your experience. All you can really do is focus on right now and see how you can now give yourself that love and support in ways that were maybe never provided or available to you back then. It all changes right here, right now. I think in the describing of our internal world, we can share what that experience has been, because a lot of the times we just suffer in silence. Yeah, Kelsey, beautiful. I acted the way I did because at the time it made sense. Hindsight is always 2020. Exactly. And we can often use our hindsight to look back and be like, oh, why did I do that wrong? Why did I get that wrong? Didn't I do things differently? And it can come from such a fearful, insecure, frustrated, angry place, and it makes us suffer more. So even when we look back, looking back from the eyes of a loving perspective and seeing that I did my best. I did what I knew how to do back then. Now I know differently, I'll clearly do differently. And that's okay. It is what it is. It was what it was. It can't be any different because it wasn't any different. It happened the way that it happened. But right now, can I choose to be compassionate, kind, loving, supportive towards myself? Can I listen to what it is that I really need? Yeah, FYA. How do you show yourself love? It's a fantastic question. When you listen to what it is that you want to be doing, you connect to those things within yourself. And then you do them, you will feel a certain way. And it feels so kind, so loving, doing the things that you want. And don't get me wrong, there may be things that you think that you want. And in the pursuit of that, it shows you where perhaps that wasn't completely loving. Maybe it was a bit of cause some conflicts for other people and upset some others, but it's in following the things that you desire that you learn the lessons most important for yourself. There's a lot I could speak about on this, because what I don't want to do here is tell you, you need to do this, you have to do that, because that's not the truth, is it? The truth is that you know what's right for you. And it's not black and white. For me, there's sometimes a desire to go out and ride my motorbike. That doesn't mean that you should go out and buy yourself a motorbike just to go and ride it because Tom said so, because that's what self-love looks like for him. Like, it's very nuanced in our own personal experience. You may remember a time in your past where you were drawing, and now looking back, you're like, oh, why did I stop that? Oh, maybe someone was critical of me. Perhaps self-love for you now looks like allowing yourself to do something that is creative. You stopped doing because of someone's negativity or criticism. Yeah, it's beautiful, Kelsey. Look back, see the things as lessons and character building. They needed to happen for me to be me. Yeah, exactly. We are where we are because of what happened. Yeah, soul breath reset. Did the best with what I had. I let go of the negative inner critic and be compassionate. Yeah. I shared at the beginning about how I had a phone call that was triggering for me. I had a really bad headache all evening because of it. Woke up with a headache still as well, which rarely happens. Slept great, but still had a bad headache this morning. And I noticed how my inner critic was so much louder when I was feeling the anger. But after I expressed the anger, like I shouted, I physically moved my body, the inner critic was silenced. The voice of negativity in my mind was no longer there at times. And I'm seeing that the inner critic for me is directly fueled by that intensity and energy of anger. I'm thinking to myself now, like, if I'm feeling angry, I just have to express myself. I describe my internal world. In anger's case, I move my body physically. That's the best thing for me. It works incredibly. And then it shifts it. And I'm no longer just stuck with a really bad headache, being really critical of myself. We often say it's easier said than done, isn't it? But is it really? When we don't know what to do, that's when it seems like it's easier said than done. But when we commit to trying it out, expressing ourselves, describing our internal world, and we have that experience, we can see for ourselves what works, how effective it is. I would say that me being sat there all evening, it's like it reached a pinnacle where it became really intense. So I was in the kitchen briefly. I had a shout about it. It like died off again, but the headache didn't really subside. The headache was always there for the remaining however many hours until I woke up this morning and still had a bit of a headache. And then this morning when I moved my body physically, it got better for me. And then I proceeded, well, okay, so this is a bit better now. So maybe I describe what's been going on for me. And I shared with a few incredibly supportive friends and sent voice notes. I said, this is what's happened. Here's what's gone on for me. You don't have to respond. I'm just grateful you are even listening. And I have the space to share it. And I shared it. And I don't have a headache anymore. I didn't take any painkillers. And that resistance is gone. I'm in a completely different space right now. Yeah. One of the responses was, Tom, this is exactly why I'm here. I want to have a space for people just like this, where I can share what's going on for me and others can share what's going on for them, so that we can live in a world where we're far more at peace and we're not struggling and suffering and stuck in this resistance. And I was like, that's so incredible. I've had that connection with someone like that. And then I realized, oh, let me just look through some of my contacts and see that the majority of the people I really value so deeply in my life are exactly like that as well. Kelsey, beautiful. Find the one I write. It helps me to release emotions and make sense of things. Get it all out. Describe your internal world. It's precisely when I've prevented myself from describing my internal world, my thoughts, my feelings, that it persists. It's like I'm resisting it, and so it persists. It stays with me. It gets buried deeper, only to be triggered by something outside of myself. And it's all too easy for me to then blame the trigger. Oh, no, because I had a phone call with my dad, it's my dad's fault for how I'm feeling right now. But the truth is, it's not. It's all me. It's my own creation, my own experience, and there's no one else to blame. And in realizing that, that's where the power is, because then you have a way of regulating, a way of being with that which is presented to you without having to blame the outside world. And honestly, I think when I try to blame the outside world, all I'm really doing is projecting how I'm feeling onto others and making it their fault. Avoiding responsibility inside myself and making it's your responsibility instead of mine. And then we wonder why we get stuck, continually being triggered by the emotions. The emotion never goes away anywhere. It just keeps getting pushed back down again every time we blame someone else. I would really lovingly encourage you to talk about that, if that's what's been going on for you. Not from a place of shame or guilt, just from a place of understanding towards yourself, compassion towards yourself. Yeah, I seem to keep blaming others for how I'm feeling. Maybe I don't know how to take responsibility for it because I don't know how or what that looks like. And that's where this prompt is here. Describe your internal world. Just in the way that Kelsey has done. Could you just write about it? Talk with someone about it. Have a conversation with Tom if you want. I'm going through it all the time. I think it's a beautiful place to be exactly where we're at, allowing ourselves to feel how we're feeling, say what we want to say, to express ourselves in the ways we want to express ourselves. And I don't think this is all about the intensity of anger and negativity. I think this works also for expressing positivity. Like when you're feeling really happy and excited and you don't feel like you're then allowed to express that. I can't dance in public. I'm not allowed to sing along to this song. I don't know how to, then that critic then stops you from doing the things that you want to be doing. And if you allow that to silence you and to slow you down and to stop you, I feel drained even talking about it. Like you just feel trapped in your own mind, your own prison. Perhaps that's the point of life, to just be living our way and when we're expressing and doing the things that we want to be doing. Perhaps literally that's the point. Yeah. Hey, Kate. How do you deal with a person who's horrible to you? I'm laughing at Kelsey's comment. Sorry. Yeah. There's so much in your question there of how do you deal with a person who's horrible to you? Because you may ask, well, do I need to do anything to deal with it? Is this person that's being horrible to me requiring some sort of action to be taken? Is there a responsibility that I need to take for myself? Where am I not saying something that I want to be saying? Perhaps that looks like having a conversation with them about what they're doing. Perhaps it looks like saying, hey, look, what you've just done is incredibly horrible. I don't want to be the receiving end of this anymore. If you're going to continue doing that, I'm going to be doing things to avoid you. Maybe the truth is, oh, I really love this person, but they're being really horrible towards me. I'll just make it very clear. I'll be like, hey, look, here's what's going on for me. Here's my perspective. Yeah, you've ghosted them. Yeah, exactly. You're going to do what you want to do, and it's perfect, isn't it? It's easy, I know, very easy, to be tied into the emotions that you have for a person, but then their actions are being horrible towards you. So you have this perspective that I really love this person potentially, but then their actions are saying they don't love me in the same way back. And it's a real conflict then, because you're then looking out for when they're not being that way, when they're being kind or just not being horrible. And then you go back to them, back to having the conversations, back to being around them. It's what you may consider like a toxic relationship because of the perspectives you have. I don't want to be horrible because I'm a really kind, loving person, and therefore that's going to stop me from perhaps ghosting or saying what I really want to say because I'm afraid of how that might make them feel. And it's in that fear, our own insecurity, then we're projecting outwardly and stopping ourselves from doing the thing that we want to be doing, to say the thing we want to be saying, that keeps us in that toxicity. And all of this comes from my own projection about your situation and what I'm thinking of. And more than welcome to jump up though if you want to actually speak about what it is that you're experiencing. But yeah, I think it's maybe useful for some of us to just reflect about where are we at? What can we see within I'm sharing there? Hey Jason, hope you're okay. Just keep going. One more step, one more smile, take a breath, and it's okay. Yeah. It's all you can do, right? Moment to moment. Can you create a compelling future for yourself? Here's a concept for you. Perhaps there's really two of you. Perhaps there's the version of you that you know all too well. The one with all the fears, the insecurities, the judgments, the stuff there. But perhaps there's another version of yourself where you are that which you were born to be. All of the love, the compassion, the positivity, the support for yourself, for others, the goals, the dreams you have. Perhaps it's a choice which version of you want to be. Which version of yourself are you committed to? Yeah, Kelsey. Did this with my ex, but also relied on him for my self-worth. Grinson said, yeah, exactly. It can be, and it's those ties that kind of keep you in that situation, isn't it? Like you're relying upon someone for something and how they make you feel. And when it becomes either completely unbearable to continue in the situation the way that it is, or you become aware of what is actually going on in the relationship or the situation, you can see, oh, this is what I've been getting from it, but here's the costs. So there's a payoff, but there's also costs involved. And when you can lay that out on the table and see it for what it is, you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to continue this one anymore. Maybe the costs aren't worth the payoff anymore. Or maybe the payoff is still worth it, and so you keep doing it. But describing that internal world helps you to see it more clearly. I only saw her twice a year, and she just Patricia vomited all sorts of nonsense in a message. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to say anything, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, if that's what's going on over there, like I'm not even going to give this my energy. I'm going to just see you later. But maybe there's a part of you that's like, I actually wanted to say something. I don't know. It's easy for me to project my own stuff onto your situation. And I don't like doing that, but here we are on a TikTok live sharing experiences, right? My son, when I was feeling down, I think about what might be said at my funeral. Does that give you a perspective of, on reflection, who will other people have seen me as being? Yeah. I think that's actually a useful perspective to have. On reflection, if I was able to look back now, what might other people think about me? I think it'd be very valuable, especially if you're chasing something like physically in the world, and a sense of accomplishment or achievement in that regard may actually be valueless when it comes on reflection to your own demise. It's like, oh, other people judging me as being very selfish and arrogant and self-centered and self-serving. Maybe gives you a new perspective on things. That's a lovely thing to do. Hey, seagull. What to do when nothing excites you? How much other than talking, spending time with particular people? Perhaps it's a wonderful thing, speaking with other people, especially when you connect to them and their energy. And if you love spending time with them, fantastic. But maybe ask yourself why. Why is it I'm enjoying spending time with these people so much? Oh, they're really fun to be around. Interesting. Am I not a fun person to be around? When I'm with myself, if I was to have a friendship with myself, what would that look like? What would our friendship be like? Is it one of little support, quite a lot of criticism? Because maybe you like being with other people so much because you don't like being with yourself, for whatever reason. Hey Aaron, purpose is not subjective. There is no right or wrong when it comes to inner direction. You make it. Your own purpose is your own creation. I've created my purpose to be the extension of love. Other people's purposes can be completely different. My purpose is to raise a family and whatever. That's up to you. That's the beauty of it, right? I think sharing our own internal world not only helps us to express and to see things clearly, but it helps others to see their own experience and connect and relate and to consider new perspectives and other ways of dealing with things. They don't want to spend time with me all the time, and I feel anxious if I don't text with them. What is the anxiety telling you? Every emotion is there for a reason. When we allow it to be there and lovingly inquire with curiosity about what's going on there, what's it telling me? I see that it can almost be a bit of a trap when we spend a lot of time in this self-reflective place trying to understand ourselves. Like we can kind of get stuck there. We can intellectualize, overanalyze, and replay things in our head over and over again. But I'm sharing the importance of this because when I don't do this, when I don't give myself the time and space to understand myself more deeply about what's really going on in my internal world, that internal world, if it gets left unsaid, it will just continue to create the life that I've been experiencing. I'll keep repeating the same themes and patterns, and I keep being triggered by the same things. And then I'll try and avoid it. It's like I'm living with a thorn in my side. If I live my life in the way that I've always been living it and keep doing the things I've always been doing, I don't change anything. Nothing changes. Well, everything changes because it gets more and more uncomfortable, more unbearable, because it's like building and building and building. But the moment I allow myself to actually feel and be insightful, self-reflective, and share my internal world in conversation with others, writing it down with myself to understand myself in that way, I gain the insights and the awarenesses, and then I can go and live my life and do things that I want to be doing with a newfound sense of freedom. It's really empowering. I would love to give you an experience of it if you feel like you're stuck or struggling with anything. That's why that tomparish.co.uk is even there. Yeah. There's a video I forgot. They witness and feel emotions, and they cry and say they don't want to feel it anymore. I don't know who said it. At this point, I don't know if independent thought is even a thing, but I've noticed in my own experience that the only way out is through feeling the emotions, through sharing. You can live your whole life trying to avoid that which is uncomfortable for you. And in the creation of the avoidance of the uncomfortable, you suffer. You isolate. In extreme cases, you can't even leave the house anymore because of the overwhelm. And it gets even harder to feel and process through the emotions because they get added and added and added to. I think support, especially with others, is essential. I think it's why community is actually a really big deal. We're not isolated beings. I think we work best when we are in support, loving and serving each other in that way. Creating that experience of safety to share what's really going on for us. I think that's increasingly necessary, especially when there's experiences of being in a world where you're not supported, you're not loved for who you really are. We seek and create the communities that we need for ourselves, for our own support. And maybe that doesn't look like the typical family we're born into. And I think it's a beautiful thing being able to go online now and connect with each other. We're having this conversation right here, right now, and you're in a completely different country probably to me. Maybe you're in the UK, but maybe you're not. And what a wonderful thing that is to have a connection in this way where we can share our own experiences as complete strangers, maybe, or maybe you've been following me for a while, or maybe we even had a conversation with each other. We can continue just as human beings, free from the judgments about each other and our own beliefs and values and theories about the world or the religion we follow or race or gender or ethnicity. Like, none of that matters because we're sharing the core essence of all of it, the humanity behind it all. Why does it look like you're trapped in a documentary? Oh, I love it. Yes. iMac camera, hey? Makes it look good. Introvert. You asked, do I create community like in a group session? I want to join. I remember a fair few months ago, I was like, oh, let's create a community for other highly sensitive people to just talk about this stuff. But for whatever reason, it didn't go well. And maybe it was because I wasn't in the right place for it. But in you asking that question, I feel like I really want to do it, to create like a community, like a group session. I think it'll be something I'd do once a week. I think for the first few sessions, it will be free because I'd be curious to see what comes up, what we end up talking about. But I think long term, especially from my own kind of long term goals and business perspective, I'd love to have it like as a small fee that's far more accessible to the work that I do as a coach. So that sounds like something I would create. And I thought I'd just be honest about that. So yeah, let's create that. Just looking to see what that would look like for me. I think a regular, same time, once a week, like catch up, and create a bit of structure around like what we'd be talking about. I want it to be open to a variety of topics though, because I think life experience is important to not be like we're just talking about this or the other, because how you experience or do one thing is how you're actually doing everything. And when you can see that for yourself and you're given the freedom to speak about a variety of topics, you can then see how they're all kind of interlinked. And that's far more profound, that more valuable in my opinion. So that's important to me. But that group setting of support, I can see as being incredibly valuable, because you can be seen and witnessed and understood by many that really care about you and each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So yeah. Yeah, no, nothing political. Yeah, I can relate. I get frustrated when people are trying like, you have to follow this party. And I feel the same way about religions as well. You have to be part of this religion. Like, no, I don't care. I really don't care. And often it gets, the issue I have with the political side of things is because it's coming from such a fearful place. And when you're just sharing that fear, it's like, you're trying to enroll me in your own fear and insecurities. I'm not going to do that, I'm afraid. That's not what I'm here for. My commitment is to be loving. Yeah. Yes. Say I'm okay. Allow myself to feel it. Let's do it. Right. How are we going to do this? If you want to join the creation of this community and this group session, the first thing I'd encourage you to do is to send me a message. I have a Telegram group that I haven't messaged in or used for months, but I think that'll be a great way to put it in one place, and then to share like, this is when it's going to be, and even just brainstorm it together for this first one. Like, when do we want it to be? Because depending on who is interested and what time zone you're in, that may affect the time that works best for this specific group. So if you're here listening to this, let's do that. Yeah. What are you drinking? Well, we'll be high on life, I can tell you that much. I'll be drinking my water, but if it's cool, I'll probably be drinking my tea, because I'm here in the UK, obviously. No caffeine though, we can't be overstimulated. Yes. So if a group experiences something you'd be interested in, send me a message. I'll send you a link to join the Telegram group I have. And in that group, we can then discuss and collaborate and create what it is we want it to be. I'm quite excited to be there with you for that. No caffeine. My missus would perish. She survived on iced lattes alone. Yeah. Introvert. If you can say anything other than just hi, because that's the one thing I get like hundreds of messages saying, hi Tom, hi, hello, how's it going? And as much as I love to chat, I don't have the time to always do that. Like I wanna be friends with everyone, but I just don't have the time, and it's not my if I'm honest, it's not my priority. So if you like, just be clear about I'd love to join the group. Just send something short like that. Yeah. Yeah. I do try to respond to a few like, hey, hi, how's it going? But I don't have the time for it. Yeah. Thank you, Leah. Yeah, respect for what I'm doing. Definitely love to join. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, honestly, just send me the message saying I'd love to join. Not just here in the chat, but like actually in a comment afterwards, because I'll go through after and I will then send you the link to the Telegram chat. So you can actually get it all in one place. And to anyone that's already in my Telegram community, I'll also open that up. Yeah. Start a Patreon. That way no one misses an episode. I didn't even consider that. I will look into that actually. Let's look into this, because then it's a way of just making it simple, open, and if there's a lot of people, then it will just, I want to keep it fairly intimate. I don't want it to be like a really big group where we're not able to each share our own experience. I want it to feel quite closely knit, rather than having like 40 people in a conversation. It can be a bit intense, So yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I'm literally taking notes. I've got my pen and my paper here, so we're doing this together. I love this. I think this feels really fun for me. Just don't know what the end result is going to be, but I'm really excited to go on that journey and experience with you. So yeah, that way you can sub to support. Oh, I love that. Yeah, let's do it. I think we could always do, if there's multiple groups, you could always subscribe to be in receipt of like the videos or the catch up from each of the groups. Maybe we can discuss this. I think in the Telegram might be a really lovely way. What I don't want to do is make it all about me and what I want to do. I want this to be very much like an open-ended conversation where we are creating something that we all see the value in. Because I don't want to just be selfish. Like it's collaborative, isn't it? It's this co-creation. Hey Becca, yes. So I'm always going to be doing these lives. I say always, that's a strong thing to say. My commitment to you is I'm going to be live every weekday, so Monday through to Friday, every 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. just on these lives, talking about all the things we talk about. But I know from first-hand experience that the depth just isn't the same and as it could be, especially in like a one-on-one conversation. So we'd be able to, with these communities, go even deeper and share more personal insights and experiences, and we kind of relate to each other. Whereas this feels like more of just Tom sharing his own experience and answering questions. And it feels, to me, I even see it can be quite a superficial. It's easy to judge me and all this stuff, but let's create something that's even more valuable for you and as an option for you. Because let's be honest, when it comes to working with me one-on-one, that can be quite an intense experience. Maybe you can't afford it for whatever reason. Like there's lots of stuff there. So I'm excited about creating other ways we can share this positivity and love with each other. Yeah. New word of mouth is digital. Got to have all the channels open. Yeah. Say, I'm hearing you. Because what I'm doing as well with these lives, I will upload them straight to YouTube. In my link in my bio now, there's a link to the YouTube channel, so you can check out the recordings. You can check all of this out for free. I think it's a really useful thing to do. I don't know why I've not been doing it. My own fearful judgment stuff has stopped me, I think, in the past, but let's share this. The more people that can connect and take the experience and the value from it, fantastic. It's only going to help, isn't it? So if I can open myself up to creating like clips from these videos and then share them on other social media platforms, that further extends the reach, doesn't it? And I think in turn, actually speaking of what we've just spoken about in terms of the community, we'd either be able to create groups. Maybe we create groups around a specific topic. Maybe there's like a shared, I'm going through grief. Maybe I've lost a partner or a loved one. Maybe there's a group specifically for grief. Maybe there's another group for a relationship, like a divorce processing. Maybe there's one for I'm starting a business and I want support in doing that. Like that could be really fun. I'll really enjoy doing that. So let's make it happen. Yeah. Went through therapy to change my mindset and it's changed my life. Fantastic, Catherine. Yeah. It's all about that perspective on things, isn't it? Right? Being in conversation, it can really, really help you see it differently. Shay. Shay. Yeah, thank you for that correction. We don't know until we know, right? Yeah. Yeah, appreciate that, Shay. Okay, D, let's just go back up to your message. Maybe walk us through the number of steps of grief. That may be a category we can talk about and take. D, I have a perspective on this, right? In my experience of grief, and in the conversations I've had with people about grief, it's not been like a black and white, here's the steps. Oh yeah, you're at this stage of grief. I think grief for me and all the conversations I've had about it, the individual experience you have in the processing of it, it's so unique to you. And I don't like to give it like labels and like a structure as if you have to be following steps. I think it's far more important that you just allow yourself to feel how you feel. And in the processing of that, it may be mixed with the complexity of other experiences and emotions, and there may be things tied up there. And to force yourself to follow a rigid like routine or structure or understand it can be very limiting. And actually, the experience I've had is when you try and force it to be something that it's not, it becomes more of a drawn out process, because the experience of grief can be a lot shorter. You can really condense it down as a result of your allowance to feel and process and be with it. Yeah, so I don't know if that resonates with you. Maybe like, oh, Tom, I don't want to listen to you then because I think I really need a rigid structure. Okay, I'm not the right person to maybe speak about grief with. But I think it's far more important we honor and acknowledge that it's different for each individual. And generally, I'm quite against having some sort of label or category and definition about things. I think it's far better to be open and curious about things as they are. Are you sure you're all right? Like, yeah, I think so. I've got my own fears and stuff I'm kind of going through, if I'm honest. Like I shared at the beginning of how I've got kind of quite triggered last night as a result of a phone call with my dad, and how I don't want to be doing, I don't want to be working with him anymore, and how I needed to say no in a conversation but found it difficult, and then it brought up a lot of stuff for me. I had a really bad headache, got quite a lot of emotional stuff tied in with that headache. Like there was a real anger and frustration, upset. And so allowing myself to then feel and process that this morning and share it with friends and giving words to my own internal world, and even here on this live, has been incredibly valuable and useful for me to share it. It feels so much clearer now. And I'm certain there's other stuff that is yet to be processed, yet to come up. So Shay, perhaps you are seeing something within me that there's like some people have said, Tom, you look really sad. Tom, you look like this. Tom, are you okay? And I'm not going to say that or pretend that I'm okay, but the honest answer is when I'm like slowing down in this moment, I'm feeling really good. Like I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling really peaceful, really calm, relaxed. I know it can be easy to pick up on what someone says and then believe it to be the absolute truth. And I may look for the ways I'm not, but I think it's more important that I allow myself to feel how I feel and just trust it's all right. Yeah. And if I don't, stuff will come up and I'll deal with it. Feel it, process it. Yeah. Telling the loved one why we're upset can be a solution, and they can help talk it out. Yeah, Richard, exactly. Yeah. Because sometimes the best thing to do is remove yourself from negativity, even family. Yeah, it goes back to what we were briefly speaking about earlier in terms of kind of seeing the emotional ties we have to friends, to family, to loved ones in general, and that the strength of that love that tie there can keep pulling us back in spite of the receiving of negativity. Like, can really be a really judgmental, negative person, but for whatever reason, we have a very strong emotional tie to them, and we just keep going back. And it's quite a painful experience, isn't it, to continually go back to that. And I think when you can see the love that you have for someone, and you can also see them for who they are, it's very loving of yourself to have that step back and see it all for what it is, because in that bigger picture, you are being loving towards yourself, because you're saying, okay, I do love this person, but it comes at a cost when I keep going back to that negativity. And the loving thing to do is for me to see that there's a payoff, but there's also a cost to it, and make a choice for myself. Like that's everything, isn't it, right? Being selfish is what you may describe that as being. Yeah. Yeah, Shay. Difficult to remove yourself from people you're deeply connected to, but it's worth it. I'm saying this from the difficulty in the situation I'm in. I don't want to just cut someone out completely, right? Because to do so in many ways can be like to blame them. It's your fault that I feel this way. And what I think is more important, that I do put in a distance where I need it, and I say no for myself. I take a stand for myself in the ways I need to do that. And that may look like having to like cut them off for a period of time because of the intensity of it, how manipulative, controlling, coercive they may be, and not to judge them as any way. They are who they are. It is what it is. Just to give yourself that space, I can see as being very important. But what I'm trying to get to here is that perhaps like cutting everything off in the most dramatic way possible isn't the solution. Maybe being open to the possibility that actually by you distancing yourself, you're then giving them the space to reflect and be like, okay, why have they just done that? And to go on their own process and journey and do whatever it is they need to do. Yeah. Strict boundaries for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. It's very useful as a concept, isn't it? The boundaries. To me, I think, again, I'm tying onto the holding of like a conceptual thing as being like black and white, but it's very different for different people. And it's not as simple as like, oh, this person said I need to put this boundary in place. And that kind of takes away your own ability to trust in yourself and to set the boundary you feel is right for you. So it's not as simple as like, oh yeah, just stop talking to them, or because then it doesn't deal with the other stuff that comes up as a result. It's very nuanced, but yeah. Yeah, not everyone will have your heart. You'll give them chances because of it, but your well-being comes number one. Exactly that. Because if you're not looking after yourself, you can't be expecting other people to be doing it for you, because a lot of other people aren't looking after themselves, and they are expecting others to be doing that for them. And so you're getting caught in that trap of, I'm looking after other people, but actually it's coming at the cost of me looking after myself. Accidentally give people my good energy, and now I'm taking it back, and now I feel like a bad person. Ooh, interesting. Gee, that's a I'm gonna take a real massive step back. It may seem quite spiritual, but just as a concept for you on this, when I'm genuinely being really loving inside myself, like I'm noticing with myself first how I'm feeling, what it is that I want to do, and maybe something is presenting itself to me in a way that I want to go and help and love and support someone. And the first thoughts are like, this doesn't make sense. Why am I doing this? And there's that noise. There's all the fear that goes on in my head. But in my heart, I'm like, I really want to do this, and it feels right for me. When I allow myself to choose to do that loving thing from my heart is the way I describe it, it really works out in an incredible way, because I feel the love first, and then I'm just purely sharing it. And if something else happens, I don't have to take it away, but I also don't have to stay committed to that person. It can be like a one-time thing. And love can also look like, the lovely thing to do now is saying, well, hey, look, I gave you all of this. I gave you all my time, my energy, my effort, whatever. And now you are trying to take. This isn't okay with me. And what I want to do right now is to say, like, enough's enough. And that can also be a loving thing. So I really relate to you saying accidentally give people good energy, and then now you're taking it back, but you feel like a bad person. Especially if that feeling is like one of, oh, now I'm feeling disconnected from that source of love that I felt so good in giving in the first place. It's like, oh, now I don't have a possibility to give it. But the truth really is that you are like looking after yourself, and you are giving it to yourself by taking it back. So I'm hoping you can kind of see what I can see in that. Yeah, because I know you're a lovely person. Yeah, definitely, you're not a bad person. It's so easy to believe it, though, isn't it? I think everyone just needs to go outside and lay on the grass to take a breath. Yeah, what's that saying? Just go and touch some grass, right? Shay, I had an experience where I've shared in a video where like in the video, maybe you've watched it already, but like, oh, Tom, I know, don't need to tell me this again. When I got close to bedtime, like an hour before bed, I allowed myself to really relax. Often look like I was on TV, like watching TV on the sofa. I really relax myself and allow all the stuff to just come up. And I realized that I wasn't allowing myself to really relax throughout the day. And so it was coming up at night because that's when I was relaxing. So when you say that, like, everyone just needs to go outside, lay on the grass and take a breath. Like, yeah, we all need more time allowing ourselves to just relax, allow things to come up. So often that the work that I'm doing with people as a coach is talking specifically about how you feel stuck in survival, always doing things, busy, one thing after another, and creating the time for yourself to relax can be very challenging because there's reasons why you're doing what you're doing. There's a reason why you keep yourself distracted, and getting to the core, the depth of what that is the only way to set yourself free of it. Otherwise, it's like you're just unconsciously being controlled by it the whole time. So always be kind to yourself, even if it doesn't work out. Your soul feels good. Yeah, exactly. Stand boundaries when you're being taken advantage of. Definitely. Yep. Hey, Witch Hunter. 28-year-old son passed away, and I always ask, what would love do now? Yeah. To me, that really highlights the importance of speaking about your internal world, because I know that to consider, I'm 32 years old, and to consider my own passing and the effect that might have on my mum, for example, I would really want her to speak about what it was that she was going through, like her thoughts, her feelings, her experience. Because the last thing I'd want anyone to do that I love is to suffer in silence. And I think that's exactly why there's that value in sharing your own internal world, because you're not going through it alone. There's so many other people that are experiencing loss as well. And it feels like you are going it alone when you are not describing it and sharing it. And in whichever way you need to create the space where you feel safe enough to do so, please do it. Like whether it's writing about it in private, talking with loved ones about it, it's fantastic. Or if you trust me, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it for 30 minutes. That's very much welcome to that time with me. I'd love to help you with that. Yeah. See you later, Kelsey. Thank you for being here. Tina, live on autopilot. Yeah, I think there's very much a shared experience for many, right? You're doing the things that you're doing because you think you have to do it, and and that's okay. It's even in the seeing of that, being compassionate towards yourself, being like, okay, wonder why. Why have I been doing this all on autopilot? What's been going on here? What's been kind of fueling me? I have a little jerry can, like a little fuel tank on my shelf. I'd typically go and get it, but let's do it. Why did I not do it? This thing, right? What's fueling you? What are you putting in your body that's running you? For you to be on autopilot, my experience has been the fuel that's been running you is a fear or an insecurity of some kind. You think that this is what I have to do. I have to pay the bills. I have to feed myself, feed my family. And it, well, I don't even need to really describe how that feels, because it's very limiting, isn't it? It feels very controlling. And the worst part really is seeing how draining it is. Like, you're not able to be the creative, loving, expansive version of yourself that you know you really are, because the fuel you're using, it takes so much energy out of you to run that fuel. And so that when you do have time for yourself, like all of the emotional stuff that comes up you've not been processing, and then you're like, oh, I just need a holiday. Just need a break from all of this, right? What I will say is, you don't have to like quit the job. What you can do is change the fuel that you've been running on. And I know that, again, I'm holding a little tin can. It's very conceptual, but feel free, let's have a conversation about it. And I'll help you to see as best I can how you can change the fuel that you're running on to be more energizing. You can be more present, be more creative, more fun. Yeah, it completely changes your experience of life, changing that fuel. Yeah, it's okay to have bad days. It definitely is. Hey, Tina. It's okay. Sometimes it gets a bit blurry here. That's quite all right. Yeah. Just allow them emotions to be. Yeah. Taking a walk in nature with my dog is freedom. Rich, I love it. Yeah. I'm certain your dog feels the same way as well. Hi, Mia. Yeah. The color you perceive this to be is purely your own experience. I think that there's been countless cases where there's been like a dress that's is it one color or is it another color, and we all perceive it differently. I struggle with labeling colors as well sometimes. I don't think I'm colorblind. Well, in fact, I know I'm not colorblind. I've been tested for it, but it's part of the beauty of not labeling things, right? Allowing things to just be what they are. Yeah. My fuel genuinely is going out in the morning and getting a coffee, going on walks with dog and Jim. Having a holiday booked always gives me positivity. Fantastic. Yeah. I'll catch you later, Tina. Yeah. I think it's a wonderful experience, isn't it, to go out there and do the things you want to do, go for the walk, grab your coffee, go to the gym, physically move and express your body. They say like dancing's incredible, yoga, sport. It doesn't matter what it is you choose to do. If you're moving your body, you're going to feel the benefit to it, definitely. I come from a big family. I have 3 younger brothers. Yeah, I don't know if that's big. Yeah, Becca, if you're in a bad mood, put a song on and dance. Yeah, the best songs are the ones where like the energy is something you want to be feeling. So I noticed this. If I am feeling a certain way and there's a certain song I want to listen to, maybe it's got a sad song, I notice now that I'm choosing to feel sad. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because sometimes I don't feel like it's safe for me to feel how I'm feeling. So then I put a song on and it creates like a space, an environment for me to feel safe enough to feel how I'm feeling. I know that could be very a strange thing to share there, but yeah, listen to whatever it is you want to listen to. But I can also see how if I could keep listening to the sad stuff, it can recreate that feeling of sadness, and I can get stuck there. So yeah, it does help me to let go of those emotions in the same way, yeah, definitely. Do I feel like I take other people's emotions on my shoulders? Becca, the honest answer is, in my coaching, in that like private one-to-one space, I am very good at not doing any of it. I can leave the session and know very well that there's like a disconnect of your stuff's your stuff, my stuff's my stuff. And I notice very clearly how I'm feeling. But when it's personal relationships, like people that have family members, friends, I find it more difficult because it's not like a structure I've created for myself in regards to like coaching. It's more open. It's not just me like listening and reflecting and asking questions. It's more of in the relationships and with family, I'm sharing and saying what I want to say, how I'm feeling. And then it becomes more difficult because there's like, it feels like a bit of a complexity of, I'm picking up how they're feeling very intensely, and I'm often confusing that with how I'm feeling. And it takes more effort to not be carried away with it, with those emotions there when it's other people in that regard. But it's interesting reflecting back and seeing how the work I'm doing as a coach helps me clearly form that like structure for myself, and to notice when it's the other person's stuff versus when it's mine. And that's definitely translated outside of that as well. Yeah. I think if you can relate to being a highly sensitive person, if you really pick up, you're very empathetic, you're very loving and kind, you are considerate towards others' feelings and what they might be thinking, it's very easy to be caught in that trap, isn't it, of taking the burden of others' emotions on ourselves, and to be doing and saying things that they're actually, when we look about it logically, is actually quite manipulative or controlling, because we're trying to influence how other people are feeling, what they're thinking, what they're doing. And we are trapped in doing that. Very easy to people please, isn't it? Yeah, Richard, exactly. Yeah, but the moment we can then go back into ourselves and see that I don't need to control anything, I can allow it to be as it is, and despite that person suffering, I don't have to actually do anything about it. And I'm saying this sounds quite brutal, doesn't it? But that's the truth. Like, ultimately, suffering is our own choice. And yeah, we can only control ourselves, and how we react, how we're choosing to respond is the goal. But oftentimes our reactions are, it's like a neural pathway in our brain that's been so well worn, we've built a road out of it. And so our reactions are so instinctive, and we go into help, we go into servitude and loving and supporting someone else at our own expense. And so it's important to then, like I say, take that time to notice what's been going on and to create a time separation to reflect, so you have that space to go from a reaction where it's instantly to more of a response. And it's in that seeing that you have the time and you have the choice in how you respond, that you change everything in your life, because you can then choose how you're responding in any situation, any scenario. The freedom you experience in life comes from seeing that you always have the choice, and if you choose to be loving, regardless of the situation and circumstance, towards yourself and others, just choosing love, then you are free. That's true freedom. I'm going to keep saying it. Happiness is dependent on your choice to extend love. You'll be happier when you extend the love that you are. I know love, conceptual thing. Let's have a conversation if you want to connect to it experientially for yourself. And then your freedom is dependent upon you expressing love under all conditions. Again, I know, very conceptual, but I think sometimes it helps to have a star in the sky to guide you in that way. Yeah. If you're trying to fix a friendship and they send you a big hated text message, continue screenshot. Yeah. It shatters you because of your relation to the meaning behind what has been sent to you. So you have a relationship with a person, and there's a lot of meaning, and you've created that meaning, in that relationship with them. There's a lot of emotions there, right? Then when they send you that text message, it shatters you because of how your perception of the relationship as being has now changed. There's the reality being presented to you is now different to how you perceive it as being. And the shattering of is often one of a disconnect from, oh, things aren't how I thought they were or how I want them to be. What's my favorite food? Cool, that's actually a really good question. My favorite food. My partner Alex, she makes the best vegan roasts by far. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say my partner Alex's vegan roasts, they are incredible. Yeah, I've nothing comes close. It's so good. Yeah. Can't go wrong with potatoes though. Oh my goodness. The versatility of a potato, I'm telling you. Chips, mashed potato, roast potatoes, oh, unreal. I think when I first went vegan, I learned about there's a chap in Australia who lived off potatoes for a whole year. That blew my mind. Oh, yeah, of course, Shay's telling you about potato superior. Love it. Yeah, it contains everything you need in a potato to survive. So pretty cool, right? Yeah. The legend of TikTok. I see you have graced me with your presence once again and blessed me with my earlobes. Yes, thank you. Yes. Hey, Chloe. I am not AI as much as I'm consciously aware of it. Oh, crisps, mate. Shay, don't it? Gold, isn't it, right? Is there a better food substance than a potato out there in the world? We're asking the real question here, right? I might double down on this and say there isn't. This is recorded. It's going to be on YouTube. Come at me. No, me and Shay, mate, we're going to take a stand for potatoes. They are by far and away the greatest. Yeah. Inspiring stuff, right? Potatoes are elite. Ah, mental. I love it. So taste difference in red and golden russet. Whoa. I think it's in the experience of different styles. Yeah, the different versions you can get. Like, they're not always the same, but I think that's part of the versatility, isn't it? Right? You can experience so many different types and flavors and. Yes. Okay. What should we talk about next? We've gone from potatoes to something else. Where should we go? Vaccines next. Let's talk about. Yeah. Okay. Myra, do I believe in vaccines? Do you think it is okay if parents refuse to get them for their safety? I don't need to. I don't think it's a question of whether I believe in like vaccines or not. I think it's very important to it's very important to consider what's in the best interests, like long term. And I think we're very fortunate because a lot of the vaccines have been out for a very long time and there's been lots of studies done. So you can independently go out and check, like, okay, what's been going on? And that might look like having conversations and seeking out information and educating yourself. But I can see the issue here isn't one of like vaccines. It's about, well, how am I being persuaded? How is my belief being formed in the first instance? What am I being influenced by? Like, am I being influenced by someone who's talking to me about vaccines on TikTok because of an experience they've had? And I'm not here to say like what's right and what's wrong. I think when it comes to like the longer term vaccines that have been out, there's a lot of evidence in support of their effectiveness and eradication of the experience of certain diseases or whatever it may be, right? So, but I can also understand the fear. Yeah, like I was in the Air Force, so and being in the military, you go through all of the vaccines, all of the stuff, and I've gone through the experience of working in the vaccination centres during COVID. And for some people, there's like, whoa, Tom. But don't let that experience that I've gone through define how you think I may perceive vaccines. Like, I think it's good to be curious about it all. You don't just buy the first thing someone tells you, and to ask what's really going on here. I mean, yeah. I had a conversation with a friend. She said to me, Tom, you need to own it. Own what you think and believe. And I think that's what I'm going to do in this moment, because I'm also open to being wrong. I don't want to be right. I'm just going to share my perspective, right? I'm just going to own it, right? I believe when it comes to those longer term vaccines, that there's enough evidence to support their effectiveness and to trust in them. When it comes to things like COVID, I am very, very, very skeptical. Partly because of my own personal experience with the issues I had with the vaccine, but also in part because of all of the data that's then coming up about the side effects of it. The number of people then passed away because of it in some regard. And I don't think being a skeptic's a bad thing. I just think it's very important that you the core of this is you trust your own intuition about making the decision that's right for you. Because ultimately you have to live with yourself and your own decisions. And listening to someone and doing something that someone else has told you to do can create a lot of resentment in yourself. So I'm here taking the stance of self-empowerment to trust your own intuition, what's right for you. Yeah. And that's okay. Like, each person's going to be different. Some people have just scrolled past and unfollowed me because of my sharing what I've just said there, and that's okay. Like, I'm not here for everyone in that way. I trust that what needs to be will be. I'll say things that are triggering from a genuinely caring place, and some people will hate me for it. I'm not here to please everyone. I think that's part of the people pleasing that I've been falling into the trap to doing so often. I'm sharing this honestly because part of me is still afraid that, what if people don't like me? What if I cut up all these clips and I post them all out and people hate me for it? Try to cancel me. That's part of the game, I suppose. The game of life, isn't it? You do anything, people have opinions about it. You choose to raise your children a certain way. You choose to take them to school, people are going to have opinions about it. You choose to homeschool them, they're going to have opinions about it. You choose to vaccinate yourself and your family and your children, and people have opinions about it. We have strong opinions about stuff. I love that. Got to respect it. I think that's why it's so important we talk about it, so we can share from in a space where we're not trying to prove other people wrong. Yeah, that's the loving thing to do, isn't it? I chose to go vegan overnight because I had opinions about it. Before being in contact with a documentary about the health benefits of it, I had very strong opinions about veganism. And then in the experience of something I found I had so much judgment towards, and seeing and considering the perspectives, I actually saw that it aligned perfectly with my own core values and beliefs of minimizing suffering and being a stand for positivity and love, and not paying for suffering and paying for the encouragement of disease within animals being farmed in close proximity to each other. Like, I saw a lot of positivity. Actually, yeah, this makes sense. Let's try it. And I felt better for it as well. Like, there's a selfishness to it. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why I believe it's really important that we do challenge ourselves, especially when we find something triggering, maybe upsetting even. Yeah. I do get some lovely compliments about these pictures. Is that you guys trying to distract me with a different thing to talk about? Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Do I have a religion? No. Love is my religion. That's what I'd say. That feels like the only religion that ever could come close. Love is Tom's religion. Love is all there is, right? Yeah. I'm going to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. It's been an hour and a half now. I've got lots of stuff to do, conversations to have. If you've sent me a message, I'm looking forward to responding. And if it's a message in regards to the community we're looking to create here and having some group conversations, I'm very excited about what we may be co-creating there. Again, just let me know. I'm going to send a message to the Telegram community. So if you're already part of that, fantastic. And then that will arrange when this first group conversation will be. Thank you for joining, Marcia. You've just come at the right time. I'm just about to leave, so do feel free to follow along if you want to see me live again tomorrow. I'll be live again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. That's 9 o'clock UK time. So yeah, thank you for being here. Love to you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, wherever you may be in the world. Yeah. Enjoy those potatoes. Goodbye for now.